What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of Liam's tape study. Today we're going to be breaking down a little bit of wrestling for Jiu Jitsu, going over easy pick takedowns, how you can integrate them into your game, what they look like, what the concepts are behind them. And I think that this is a really effective hold for wrestling, fighting, grappling. Anytime that you get in a hand fighting scenario, anytime you're tied up with somebody, it's a great offensive option for a bunch of reasons. Let's take a look at one of these takedowns to start. Here we go. Boom! Ran him right over. That's a good one. I come out on top in that situation, and we're going to break it down a little bit slower here so you have an idea of why it worked and what's actually happening. Okay? And forgive me, folks, I'm brand new at this technology, so give me a second to get used to it. So I'm going to, first of all, put it onto a quarter speed, and we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why this is such a great move. So number 1, it's a very simple move, guys. It's very adaptable. You could use it from a lot of different situations, but in this position, you're seeing that me and my opponent are grip fighting from a standing position, okay? I use my inside collar tie, which is right here, okay? My inside collar tie. I'm using that hold in order to keep my opponent far away from me, to create distance. And because my opponent has a grip on me right now, he's going to want to get close, right? He's going to want to follow me. He's going to want to walk towards me. And you'll also notice here, guys, he's up very tall. He's in a pretty straight position here. Straight-backed position, and it's not a great look, right? He doesn't have a ton of bend in his knees, my opponent, right? He's pretty stationary and up high, and if I have an opponent who's square to me, that's one of the situations where a pick might work, right? If both of their feet are completely squared up, they're not in a great position, I can now use my collar tie on one side, okay? So my collar tie right here, on one side, and then on the other, I have my pick. All right, and this is essentially what a pick is, guys. I'm blocking off, I'm picking, I'm putting a blocker behind my opponent's leg, and on the opposite side, I'm pushing them over. I'm using their body weight and sending their body weight from the upper body over the blocked leg. So what it looks like, we'll clear this off the screen, is my opponent is still in that tall position that we noticed, but now I have a blocker right here on his leg that's going to allow me to push his weight. If you've ever seen a tabletop, it's like a children's disrespectful game where one child would line up in this position and another child would push this way into a person and knock them over, right? But this is a one-person tabletop. That's what you have to think of. We're driving our opponent forward, right? We're running our feet. We're not stationary when we hit this move. But in addition, we're pushing their weight in opposite directions. So I'm bringing my right hand, in this case, in towards me, and I'm pushing my left hand, in this case, up top. You can't really see it on the video, but I'm pushing it away from me, from the collar tie, okay? So that's the essential motion for how a pick works. And you'll notice that what happened there is my opponent gets off balanced. That's what the pick does. It gets my opponent off balance. The pick isn't always going to work, right? It's not always going to achieve a takedown, but off-balancing our opponent is the beginning of a takedown a lot of the times. And so I think that this is a great move to start working into your hand fighting, whether or not you're achieving it often at a high level and at a high rate when you first start using it. So now we're going to go forward to the next clip.